Keep letting them in.
Yep.
All righty, I'm going to go ahead and get started. Hey, good evening, everyone. Everybody good? Hope you're having a great weekend. Boy, it got hot down here quick in Florida. I know you think it's hot all the time, but it, it went from 85 to 97, so it's a quick shift into really hot. So anyway, we spent the day at the beach yesterday and then got caught up with some business today, but hope everybody's doing good. You know, tomorrow night, and I'm going to pull up some slides in a second, but tomorrow night is our opportunity Zoom. And, we only do it live once a month. And tomorrow night is that night. And you really want to give some thought and effort and energy to getting guests on tomorrow night. And even though we do record it, and you guys know that everything's recorded, even these are, recorded, there's something different when your guest is watching it live and they see themselves on the screen. I fondly call it the Hollywood Squares. They're one of the Hollywood Squares. It really matters when they're participating in it versus just watching it. It's two different things. So anyway, we got a lot to cover tonight. I don't know if any of you made your video for influencers, but April and I did at least first drafts. We have it ready to go. And then of course Rachel came up with something new that April's going to talk to you about tonight too. So let me go to the slides, cover a couple things with you, and then I'm going to turn it over to April. Okay. All righty. So as I said, tonight the real topic tonight is going to be approaching influencers and affiliate marketers. Okay, and April's going to go over that. We did both create our videos. If you remember last week, I mentioned Brandon Cunningham had suggested that, and he had gotten an influencer involved, and I want to congratulate my wife. She got one yesterday involved with like almost 150, 200,000 followers. And it was a cold market lead that she'd been working on for 9 months. But anyway, you're going to hear about, how to go about doing that tonight. But as I was saying earlier, tomorrow night at 8:30 Eastern, we're doing our live opportunity presentation. And this is when, you want to get people on it. Like I said, and then the other day, and I want to thank Kenneth for seeing this and sending it over, but Rachel Pekarek, who is a presidential, she's $1 million earner. Most of you know who she is if you've been in the business. She started a new marketing system for utilizing social media, and it's kind of a beginner's thing, but we joined it, and April's working on it and figuring it out and going through it, and she's going to talk to you a little bit about that tonight because we only enrolled yesterday. So there's a lot of digging and going through things as we do that. But if you need the invites, okay, they're in the team group on Facebook. They're on the messenger groups, and if you still can't find them, just text one of us and we'll send it to you. We have these that you can post, and then we have the live link down here invite that you can post to. So you can use them either way. But tomorrow night, 8:30, this is your challenge, the next 24 hours. Do what you can to get 10 or 15 people on it. You got thousands of names in your phone. Just invite them and ask them to join us. Tell them what you're excited about, or tell them you want to show them what you're excited about. But this is when you want to go all out and get some folks on. And it's that one time that it's live and you want people to see it live. But with that, April, I'm going to turn it over to you, and you can take it from here and just let me know when you want me to switch slides for you.
Okay, great. Hi, how's everybody doing? Good. We're gonna go through, like Bobby said, influencers, some Facebook stuff. Just keep in mind there are so many ways to do this business, and Bobby and I try to do a little bit of it every which way. So, really just want to show another way that we've been working. Again, Brandon kind of let it out of the bag, and it makes sense with the change in our comp plan that they would be very interested in the amount of money they could make with our program. So, yeah, you can go ahead and switch to the next slide. So, whether it's this influencer program, which I'm going to talk about, or, I'll talk a little bit more about Rachel's program. This is all social media stuff. So if this is you, great. If not, the cool thing about all of this is, you're talking to a lot more people, and we're starting to get more automated in this industry. And, you'd have to have your head in the sand if you don't hear about AI and everything else that's going on. And, I think we do need to look at some of that stuff as we move forward. And maybe we'll do some smaller meetings if people want to learn how to use different systems or whatever. But tonight I'm going to talk about the influencer part about it. The big thing with this is you need to either be on Facebook or Instagram. I think there's probably more influencers on Instagram because Instagram is more selling. And so, one of the things that you have to do, and I'll show you how I track them, but you need to follow them closely. It's kind of like you just need to become a stalker. You need to be liking their posts enough so that they say that they know your name and stuff. And when you engage with them in these posts, it can't just be an emoji. You need to come up with something clever. Now, if you feel like you're really stuck, and there's a number of programs out there now, but with ChatGPT, you can literally copy and paste the post, put it in ChatGPT, and ask for a reply, and it'll tell you what to say if you get stuck. So, I mean, if you really feel like you don't know what to say, something original, but this is doing your homework, following, commenting, messaging them certain things, learn what they're interested in. The big part of this too is finding the right person. So on Instagram, it's pretty cool. You can literally go in the search bar and you can put anything. You can put skincare sellers. You can put weight loss. You can put people that sell clothes, women over 50. You can put anything in you want, and up on your wall will come these people. And then it's just a matter of looking at their profiles, seeing how many, followers they have. I know Dee's on here, and she said anywhere between 10,000 and 100,000 would be a good wear for a micro influencer. Again, you don't want to get somebody that's so big that they just get, people are throwing stuff at them left and right all the time. So, stay somewhere in there. I tried to stay a little bit on the lower side there too, so they don't have so much stuff being thrown at them. But you can see who's being successful, who's been doing it a little while, but learn what they're interested in and think about how our products fit a niche that might go to, like an offshoot of what they're doing. If they're selling collagen, I wouldn't sell collagen to them. That's not a person I would pick. If they're already all over a skincare line, I wouldn't pick a skincare line because we have a skincare line. So, but if they're talking about pro-aging or something, that's somebody, that I would go after and stuff. So next one, Bobby. Thanks. So what you want to do is you want to, like I said, comment regularly, genuinely on their posts, on their stories. Great way, particularly on stories as they're scrolling across. And again, I'll show you how I quickly follow up, and maybe one night we'll jump on a separate Zoom for half an hour, but, share their content. If you genuinely like, or tag them in something. This way they get notifications of you. Your name continues to pop up, and they kind of get familiar with who you are. So reply to their stories, reply to their posts, all of that. Just like I said, they get to see your name. And the more, you don't have to know somebody, but the more and more they see your name, the more excited they get about it. Next, Bobby. Thanks. Okay, so this is a kind of a copy of, and I would do this one night separately as a separate training because I know this doesn't interest everyone. And the whole purpose of this is just to let you know there's another avenue that people are building their business. So this is my Trello board, and this is for my influencers board. And this board slides each way, and as I slide it one way, is my video that I have in there. Then I'll put the people, and you can see I can literally press on these names and it goes right to their site. So I can see their story quickly. I can see any posts that they're doing quickly, and I just move them along. I literally pick them up and move them in the next column. Makes it really easy and faster for me to do. I don't have to go looking for these people. I don't lose people because they're in this board. Then I can have sent video, sent message, whatever it is that I might want to send to them, as far as, as we're building this relationship. So this is a Trello board. You can figure out, I mean, I know Tara Wilson will tell you she top earner in our company still uses notebooks. I mean, I just don't know how you keep track of all that, but everybody's got their system. If you've got a system you're comfortable with, run with it. This is something that on Instagram, Facebook, I have all different boards for different things. It's just made my life a whole lot easier. So next one, Bobby. Okay. So one of the things that you want to do is, and we did it with a video, but before that, I also did, a message to the person, because I think Bobby or somebody was asking me, how are you sending this video? It's a video that is the same for everyone, but we've been having a conversation with this person. I've been going back and forth, and I know, one of the ladies that I'm talking to actively now, she's actually only down in Miami, and she sells a lot of clothes. But one of the things that we had in common is she showed one of those red light masks, which I got one about, I don't know, 3, 4 weeks ago and stuff. And so we were talking about brands, and she had the one that I got, and her daughter stole it. And, so it's led into all these conversations. So it would be real easy for me to have a short, just, text message there and just say, hey, would you take a look at this? I don't know if, sometimes you use other products, I've loved sharing, whatever we've been sharing, skincare, whatever, back and forth and stuff. So, and I just let them know I have a really short video. One of the things that Brandon said was to keep it 30 to 60 seconds. Short, super short. So I liken this to when we went in the doctor's office, in order to always get that next appointment. Our first appointment was, we never asked for more than 5 minutes. If you'd give me 5 minutes on the phone or 5 minutes in your office, you would get enough information for me to see if this is something that you want to spend a little more time investigating it. And that's really what we're doing here, is just a little bit of compliment, a little bit of curiosity. The thing that we have going for us is our comp plan. Most of these influencers do not get paid 30, 40% on a one-time sale. Never, you think it's closed. They do a lot of posing and video and a lot of work to maybe sell. They're only going to sell that outfit once. I mean, they may have some repeat customers, but probably they'd have a whole lot more with a nutritional product that's on an auto ship month after month. So we can run those numbers. So our comp plan is really what puts us over and above anything else that's out there right now. And I think that's really why our company is attracting all of these, influencers, for once they understand that it's not just a one-time shot. This is something that, not only can they run with the people they already know in their network, but their network can share it with people and they continue to get paid. So, letting them understand some of this, because again, our industry to a lot of people is still so unknown. They just don't know what it is all about, and we need to explain it. So one more, Bobby, I think there's one more there. Okay, so I'm going to click on it and see if it plays. I don't know. Every time I try to do this, it doesn't work.
I've been following your content and really love how you connect with your audience. I'm reaching out because I think you'd be a perfect fit for our new wellness products that are getting amazing results. We have two: a unique all-natural activation formulated GLP-1 natural approach, no shots, no synthetics, and also a collagen activator, 100% collagen. Our customers are seeing changes in both appearance and wellness. But here's why this is special for you. We offer influencers a highly attractive commission, 30 to 40% every month for every order placed through your link. That means real money, real reoccurring income, as your followers benefit from a really great product. If you're interested, I'd love to send you more information. Let me know if you'd like to learn more.
And then I just put some pictures of weight loss, and then 2 of collagen. Because again, remember, even though we're typing a message, and you go to the next one, Bobby, thanks.
Is that the last picture?
Yeah, that's last. Yeah. Even though we're typing a message, we're personalizing it with a message. People would rather watch a video, a short video, than they would rather read. So rather than send a paragraph over, I'm going to keep my introduction very short. And, I'm not an expert on this. This is just what seems to be going on in our company, what people are doing. And as we learn more, and, as Bobby said, that was my second cut on a video. The first one, I did a horrible job with the formatting and I didn't really like the words and I had to rechange it. But, everything you do, just do it. That's the one thing I got to say. Do not wait for perfection. Learn from doing it. Just do it, and you'll just get better as you're out there talking to more people, as you're talking to influencers. You may get feedback from them that say, whatever, I don't know. I haven't gotten a negative feedback. Everybody seems to be open. And there's a few already that I probably won't even send a video to because I just don't think we're going to be a good fit. It's funny. I just talked to Bobby about another guy that just replied back to a text, and I'm like, I want to delete him, but he's kind of like been your lead. Can I delete him? I just, I've gotten to the point now where if I don't like you, you're deleted, you're done. So, I'm only going to send the video to the ones that I truly want to work with and stuff. So, here again, keep it low pressure. Instagram is supposed to be fun. It's not meant to be a hard sell or anything. And you got to decide too, there's a cost of doing business with some of this. Some people I never have to send samples to. Some people I do. Some people, we have these little cloth sacks all wrapped up some collagen in and stuff, but it depends. But, sometimes when you're doing that too, it slows business down. So, it just depends. Each scenario is different. But I think if you can book after the video, if you can book a quick Zoom with them, and I would ask for 10, 15 minutes, which is what I'm going to do. I just like to keep it short. You know me, I'm always to the point. I'm short. It's funny. I had somebody get back to me from high school. Some guy reached out and I'm like, I'm sorry. I don't remember you. I said, I tend to be very much an introvert. My husband's, very, very outgoing. And he said, I remember that. He said, every time I tried to talk to you, you had very few words to say to me. And I'm thinking, well, if that wasn't me for sure, hard to get me to talk to you. But anyway, so, don't ask for too much up front. Ask for a little time. Time is people's most valuable asset these days. They really don't have that much of it. I don't know why we're so much busier than years ago, but we are. So I think that's is it Rachel slide next?
Yep.
What do you have next?
Now you got one.
Oh, okay. So this makes sense. Again, no long-winded messages, again, keep it short, keep it direct. No mass, they sniff this stuff out. So don't be pasting down. Don't be doing, hey girl, or, hey beautiful, or any of this stuff. They don't like that over flattery. Don't do that. It's got to be sincere. If you don't feel like you're connecting with the person, look for another one. There's just way too many people on Instagram. So next, Bobby. Okay. So this is, and I just started to get into this. I think I signed up Friday morning, spent a good time on it Friday. This is very much a work in progress for her. I'll tell you why I like it. Why I joined was different than why I'm going to like it already. So everything is getting to be automated in a sense. And so as you start to get more and more leads, it gets harder to keep up with all these people. And you've heard it's all in the follow-up. So like the lady that signed up last night, she's a good 7-8 months in the works easily. And if I hadn't kept dripping on her, I use Project Broadcast and I continue to drip every Sunday night. I send out a text message and like, today's that just went off, is all about the Zoom for tomorrow, the launch that we're doing, the business overview. So with Rachel's, it's very, very basic. She is selling the program for $97 a year, which is nothing for anyone. And she's really going through the basics. What I took out of it so far, and that what I want to see for our group more is the onboarding process. We have that one sheet. But I think we can do a better, again, people love videos and stuff. So I know even with my text messaging, I finally got it to where it's automated so that it replied the message I wanted back. I don't have to type a message back. So it was an auto reply. So, we're all just getting smarter and smarter with this stuff, but you got to go at your pace. if you're old school and you still want to do kneecap to kneecap, that's fine. If you want to try some automated system or something, I suggest you do a little bit of both. I mean, I just think, there's a lot of growth in our industry, and those that are, as always, talking to more are going to do better. So she starts off with a very introductory part, like ITT basic, really, really basic, who to talk to. She's got scripts for 30 days to use on Facebook, very product business oriented. But, again, you can look and take from it what you want for $97. I think it's good. Her funnels all lead back to Team Heart, so you do need to be careful of that. But onboarding and recruiting, automation, those ways I think are ways that we need to pick up the pace. And then maybe even, customer retention more dripping on them as well. So lots of exciting stuff. I just love, and she probably put it, for her, she called us cousins. We're not her immediate family, but we're her cousins, others of us in the company. And I just like being able to peek under the hood, so to speak, about what their team has going on. Because as you know, she's been so successful and just so smart and just so great at this business. She truly, I'm sure she works a lot, but she makes it look easy and is always so, so sharing of everything and so beautiful and all. So anyway, I did join it. I did share it with some people. I think those that are actively trying to work more on social, this is a huge value. Always learning is a natural motivator as well, too. So I'll keep you posted. Some of this stuff that she has in there for the more advanced people, all of us that have been around for a little while, not coming till June. So it'll be an ongoing process, but I'm just loving being able to see. We'll have access to her Monday momentum call, which is at 1:00, I guess her time, probably 3:00 my time, or 4. So any of those links you want, anything, let me know. But the cost to join is $97, and that's the link to join if you want down there. And like I said, I think it's just a great way to keep our businesses sharp and see what's going on. And for $97, I just think that's a bargain. So I'll keep you posted on the process there. Anything else or?
Nope.
Okay.
Blank screen.
Blank screen.
Anyway,
Again,
great information.
thanks.
You got anything else, April?
Yeah, I just hope that keeps you motivated about your business. I always think learning is the best way to excel at your business. If you're not learning a new skill, if you're not figuring out a new way to better yourself, whether it be with replies to people, approaches. Bobby and I do a lot of, particularly when we're at the beach, we do a lot of person to person. I mean, sometimes even when I just want to veg out and read a book, he like dares me to get a phone number or something. I mean, he just can't let it be. So, we're always figuring out how to get around people, approaches, things to say and stuff. So we still very much do it the old way, in person, love being with people. And I see Catalina's trying to get in now, but and then no, we're going to go up to Myrtle Beach, big time to go up there, and also Chicago again. So, all right, back to you, Bobby.
One thing we learned in this business, and we've been with LifeVantage now 7.5 years. We were with another company for 25. And here's something, and please write this down. Okay. Everything works. Everything. If you work it. Okay. There is no magic bullet. There is no secret sauce. Everything works. It's just a matter of will you work it? Okay, that's all it comes down to. If you're a people person, and I love people, just are freaking entertaining for me. I mean, they're entertaining. That's why we like to be out, beach, go out to eat, go. We always sit at the bar if we can, and we make sure we can get a person on each side of us. We love the people part of it. It's just so entertaining. I mean, people are just, well, we're all crazy in a different way. Everybody's nuts. And it's so much fun just dealing with people. But if you're not a people person, I'm sorry. Okay, you're missing out on some good entertainment. But there's automation. Okay. April and I and Ken, we've been doing some advertising now for about a year. Okay. And we're still figuring things out, but we've been productive with it. Okay. And mainly social media stuff, and he does some other things with Google and stuff, but we're playing with it. Okay. We're playing with it. I see a new consultant here. Hey, Stuart, wave to everybody, Stuart. Just wave. Stuart's a new consultant, just got started last week, up in Saugerties, New York, and lived on Long Island for a while. We had a lot of things in common, but he's done a lot of automated phone work, robocalls, that type of stuff. So he's going to apply that as part of the business. Okay. I see Ali and Angie. They've done trade shows, bridal shows. Okay. April and I have done anti-aging shows. We have a niche with the doctors. I'm telling you, folks, everything works. Okay. The question is, will you work it? Okay, that's the only question. What I would do in the next 24 hours is spend every free minute I have inviting people to join us tomorrow night. Why? Well, there's urgency, okay? There's a live opportunity presentation, and you can tell those people that the people hosting it are your partners, and they're available to get on a three-way call. They're available to get on a three-way Zoom. They've earned over $17 million in their career. And you can say that. See, me saying that to them doesn't sound good. You saying that to them, and they're like, wow, and they'd be like partners with us too. Well, yeah. Okay. That's called leveraging. Okay. So whatever it is that you've done in the past, it will work in this business if you work it. Okay. Now, just thinking about it, not picking up the phone, not sending text, not getting on social, not going out around people, that won't work. Okay. It was funny. I was blown away when April came down and showed me, and the lady that got involved was just all juiced up over collagen. And I looked, I'm seeing almost 200,000 followers. And then I started watching her videos and stuff, and I'm like, now I know why. She's extremely entertaining. Okay. She's just very, very entertaining. And she's a medical person, and she owns a medical spa, and she trains people in that field on top of the fact that she owns one. And I could see why there's thousands and thousands and thousands of people out there like that, as April mentioned. Now, do you get them with the first message? Of course not. That was something that came in because of collagen, and I can tell you that means could we started dealing with the MB stuff back in September, so that means it was back earlier than September of last year. So that's going back 8, 9, 10 months. Okay, but she's in now. Okay, and we spent a few hours this weekend getting some materials to her that will help her run faster than she even wants to run. You don't know where they are. And the other thing is, you don't know who other people know. You never know who can open that next door for you. Okay. You do understand that you can get an influencer and you didn't get them. They're just on your team somewhere. Somebody else got them. So that's why it's so important that you participate, because it could always lead to a teammate doing what you did and getting one. Okay. And you never know how they're going to work out. Okay. We don't know how it's going to work out. I'm just glad she's on our team. I'm glad she answered an ad that we ran 8, 9 months ago. I mean, I'm glad that April has her in a project broadcast system that sends her a message every week. So, what's your thing? Okay, what is it that you really, really are good at, or you really, really love, that, or you're an expert in, you know a lot about, people come to you for advice? What is it? If you apply that skill, that technique to this business, you will be successful. There's no getting, no ifs, ands, or buts about it. But not reaching out in some way, shape, or form each day to let people know what you got, it won't work. Okay. You know, the people that get lucky because they're being active every day. And it really isn't luck. They just put the work in and one time it hits. Okay, that's just what happens. So find something you love, do it every day, and apply it to this business. And I'm telling you, you will hit something. But you got to be out looking for, I'm going to say, new blood. Okay, you got to be out fishing. You know, it was funny. I got into this was funny. I had this couple next to us targeted, and April always knows when I'm going to target someone. But we're at the beach. They're parked next to us. They're in their chairs, and they had a sign on the back of their truck. Now, the guy was out standing in the surf fishing. Okay, we're on the Atlantic Ocean. Okay, we're in New Smyrna Beach, and he's out there fishing. Nothing was biting, but on the back of his truck, he had a sign for organic meat. So I'm figuring they were in like the meat business. They sold organic meat. Well, why else would you have organic meat on the back window of your Jeep, you know? And they weren't. What was they weren't in that business. What it was is they like to eat organically and catch their own fish and hunt for deer and do this and do that. And it just had nothing to do with what I thought. But we got a laugh over it. But if somebody is within speaking distance, okay, I'm going to talk to them. And I'm not going to talk to them about business when I first talked to them. There was someone last week at the beach, they had a license plate on their car that was from Alabama. And I had a conversation with him because my son played baseball for a college in Alabama. There's a million icebreakers, folks, that you can do. It could be pickleball, it could be tennis, it could be baseball, whatever it is. And if you break the ice and you can get them to smile or something like that, here's the next thing that happens. If you see a smile, then all you got to do is say something complimentary, not controversial. Okay. Just say, how often do you get to come to the beach? And this is anything, whatever you're doing. Do you get to come every weekend? Oh, no, I'm from out of town. I only get to do this 1 or 2 weekends, the whole summer. Or, is this something you get to play all the time? You say something to continue the conversation. And ideally, you'd like to say, what do you got? What do you guys do? You got such a great personality, so that they'll ask you what you do. Okay. And if they don't, they don't. You don't force it on them. Okay. But in the next 24 hours, invite for tomorrow night. Don't spam. Do individual invites. Okay. Don't spam. Okay. April's trained on this 1,000 times on how to go about, inviting people. But if you got their name in your phone, then somehow, some way you knew them and you put the name and number in your phone. Okay. Let them know you're excited about what's going on and send them an invite. And we'll keep you updated on the influencer thing. We'll keep you updated on Rachel's new program. And again, April's had like 36 hours to play with it. She hasn't had much time with it, but we'll keep you posted on that. But, a lot of exciting stuff going on, folks. And, you know, we want to see everybody in Dallas in October. We'll start talking about that a little more as we get closer. But you know, let's put all our energy and effort into tomorrow night, and that'll give you a lot to work on to close the month out. So you can be rank advancing, maybe getting a new pair of those sneakers. Can you imagine LifeVantage having custom sneakers made for everybody that hits it's SC1, or if you develop two SC1s,
You
right?
enroll to SC,
Enroll two, right? Well, you can't enroll, you
enroll.
got to enroll and help them get there.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, it would be great if we could enroll them as one.
We got creative. We could.
That's a conversation for another day. But anyway, any questions, anyone, before we let you go? We're a little over the 30-minute mark. Anything?
Now, Barb asks, when they ask you, Bob, what do you do? What do you say to them?
It depends
What
on,
you do for a living, I guess she's saying.
okay, when they ask me what I do for a living, it
Yeah,
kind
in your conversation, when you are on the beach and you have a conversation and it comes to the fact of, okay, Bob, what do you do? What do you respond back to them?
it depends a little bit on what we were talking about before they said that. You know, were we talking about the Mets and Yankees playing each other tonight? Were we talking about kids, dogs, Jeeps? What were we talking about? But I love to say I do multi-level marketing. And if they look a little confused, I said, like one of those pyramid things, but it's
Yeah,
legal.
yeah.
I like to joke about it and say it
Mhm.
right up front. I'm a bit of a wise guy, but I do it with a smile on my face and with a good heart. Okay. But if we've been talking a little more serious about business, then I say, well, my wife and I have been in the health and wellness business. We have some special activator products, and we've been doing this for 30 years. And, we work with a lot of doctors, a lot of
Always,
sports people.
but
It
but
just depends.
follow everything up with another question.
Yes.
So if I say I'm in multi-level, do you know what multi-level is?
Or have you ever
If
done it? Or have you ever done it?
right.
Yeah.
Very important to always have a second question to follow up. I'm in the health and wellness industry. Do you currently take any vitamins or supplements at this point?
It's funny,
Um,
Barb. The other day, probably about a week ago, I got a text back from somebody that said, "Oh, I'm no good at that. I've been in like 10 of them, over the last 30 years or whatever." And I said, "Well, let me ask, do you mind if I ask you a couple questions?" I said, "How long did you give each one? Did you give it a year or two to establish some roots like you would with any business?" The answer was no, that it never lasted more than 6 or 8 weeks. I said, "Did you have a sponsor or an upline that you could reach out to that could answer questions that had been somewhat successful, been doing it for a while?" I don't know that it was kind of a wishy-washy answer to that. But then I said this. I said, congratulations on the fact that you've been in 10 of them. And he thought I was being funny, and I wasn't being funny. I said, one thing that you know for sure, and I know just by talking to you for a few minutes, you are absolutely an entrepreneur. You are looking for an opportunity, and that's a good thing. You just maybe haven't found the right match or haven't found the right person to partner with, but don't ever stop looking because you're an entrepreneur. You never would have started 10 different ones if you weren't. And all of a sudden, the guy just like really felt good about himself. And we're continuing the conversation. It went from no, I'm not good at that, to send me a video, what you got. Let me see what we're looking at. We can talk again next week. So a lot of times it's just, can you give the person a little bit of confidence that maybe it is something for them and they just haven't found the right one or the right person or the right product or the right, and you and I all know they could all be the right one if you put the right effort in. Okay. You know that, but so Barb, there's not a standard answer to that, but I always say multi-level marketing. And the reason I say multi-level marketing instead of network marketing, because when people hear network, they think computers, they think technology, they think other things. Where
Okay,
when I started saying that 30 years ago, multi-level marketing was multi-level marketing. They knew what it was, okay, whether they liked it or not. So
good
anyway,
point.
anything
Thank
else?
you.
We good?
no, no, nothing else.
Nothing
Yeah.
else in the chat, April?
Mm-mm.
Okay. So we will see you all tomorrow night at 8:30 and hopefully, 3, 4, 5, 8, 10. We have room for 500, so you can invite as many as you could get on. But have a great night, everyone. Thank you so much for your time. I'll get this replay posted in the group by the morning. Bye-bye.